So it's Martin Luther King Day. So I got the day off, you know what I'm saying? I thought, what better way to honor that than to get up early before 7, be ambitious, come out here to the park and smoke a pipe in honor of Martin Luther King Day. Cheers. I think there was a lot of talk about Martin Luther King in school when I was growing up. I went to public school. We did almost like a month celebration, you know what I'm saying? Nah, but we you would see his picture up around the school and his quotes like he be dreaming, or he have some dreams, Thinking about that now, it's kind of weird. We're celebrating this one guy because he had a dream. I mean, I have dreams. Do we care what my dreams are? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it matters the content of the dream, right? I think that's the important part. But the one thing they didn't teach me in school about him was his communist ties, his ties to the Communist Party. Yeah, I was talking to a brother the other day. And I'll be honest, I mean, I know this guy's a conservative. Which is to say that conservatives, it's like a conservative when you find out about who's a communist or not, from them. It's like, oh, they're paying attention, Guys, excuse the lighter. I don't have any matches, right? I don't have matches. But a morning pipe smoke and a coffee out here by the lake, I mean, this is just hitting. Yeah, I mean, it's more of a pond, but whatever, you get it. So, I wonder why I didn't hear about the communist ties, why didn't I hear about that? It's kind of weird. We're not a communist country, as far as I know. But why didn't I know he was a communist? That's the other confusing part. Is if he did have communist ties, you would think that like the schools would have told me. Like the schools, I feel like the schools are pretty compromised on that type of a thing. So you think that they would have like mentioned that as like a point of pride or something. Not pride, but like, so my mic died. I kind of figured that was gonna happen. Where were we? Ah, yes, smoking my pipe in the park in the morning in honor. Like I don't want to honor communists, bro. Like it makes you wonder if his message is like communist or something. And I, you know, I'm not saying blacks got to use a different water fountain than me or something, right? Like, I don't want to use a water fountain. You know, water fountains, yeah, alongside the grossness of that, like, who even knows if the water is good to drink, you know, nowadays. Society's going down, man. We can't even drink our own water, man. What are we doing, man? The sun's coming up, and it's coming up right in my eyes. But no, I don't know. I'm conflicted. No, I'm not conflicted. I'm not conflicted at all. I don't care about celebrating this guy. I don't want to I'm not celebrating this guy. You know, I'm not celebrating and standing with some communist dude. You like, here's the problem. See, here's like the like blaring obvious thing. If he's tied to the Communist Party, he is communist propaganda. That's what they used him for. They propped him up. That's why everybody knows about him. That's why my school's teaching me about him. Because they're inculcating us, they're indoctrinating us with what they want us to know. That is the way it works. That's politics, right? So I think I probably like should have a natural recoil, if anything, at this guy, and natural question of his messaging. I'm sorry, like, okay, this doesn't mean I'm talking about like segregated water fountains. I know that's the most dramatic thing that anybody could ever think about. Like, what if there were black areas I wasn't allowed to go? Oh wait, what if there are like black neighborhoods that I wasn't allowed to go? You know, how would I feel about that as a white man? How would I feel if there were black neighborhoods? Like, say I wanted to go to Martin Luther King, you know, street in like LA or something. Would I be welcome there? Like, if I wanted to go to Martin Luther King Street, you know, on Martin Luther King Day, because my school taught me about him. Would I be welcome there? As a white man? Do they care? Do they care about whites? Do they care about race or whatever? Like that whites are different than them? But yeah, like, would I be welcome there? Yeah, I could probably go there. Like, I don't think I'd feel comfortable. Like, I think I would... Like the other day, I was driving around like this neighborhood, looking for a spot to like record a video, and it's like a upper middle class neighborhood, and I just felt like the entire time, like people were giving me side eyes for driving through there. Now, it might have been because like I was just feeling awkward that I was like just looking for a place to film. But it still like crossed my mind, like, you know, like you don't live in this neighborhood. Like you're not on this class of people. So like it didn't feel comfortable to be there, I guess. Like the funny thing is I've visited that neighborhood and had like get-togethers and holiday hangouts at a house in that neighborhood, like on the same street that I was driving around. But like when I wasn't invited, I felt like, well, you know, I'm not invited, but I'm here. So like when you go into neighborhoods that aren't yours, like naturally maybe you just feel different, especially if they're like some difference, if there's some cultural difference or class difference. I guess that's probably just natural. So maybe that's just a natural feeling I'd have if I go to Martin Luther King Drive, you know, like maybe I would just feel uncomfortable because it's not my neighborhood. There's nothing to gather from that. I can't make a determination as to whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, how I'd feel about going to that kind of a neighborhood, right? I don't even know why I brought this up. Oh yeah, that's right, segregation. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like there's a sort of a natural segregation that Americans and culture has. Like there's a natural segregation of class, for sure. Like money creates that. Like the ability to live in a certain neighborhood is determined by how much money you have. And there are some neighborhoods that are nicer than other ones. I mean, the neighborhood, I used to live down in LA, like Orange County, and I did some work where I would head over to Compton and Watts and Covina, I don't know, like Inglewood, some neighborhoods that were predominantly, you know, black, Hispanic. And they are definitely different than like this neighborhood that I drove through the other day. It was predominantly white. Might have seen some Asians, but I don't know. Is that okay? Is that okay? Like that white people are just living out like separate from black people? Is that okay? I don't know how to think about that, I guess. I mean, if you live in a neighborhood where there's not as many different peoples as you, is that okay? Are you segregating? Because I feel like that's what they tell you is bad. It's bad to be segregated. But like you just see like people live separate. And I'm a social guy. I'm a pretty social guy. But like a lot of times I don't necessarily want to be like around everybody else. Oh, of course, I go to adjust my lighting and the camera stops recording.
whatever they taught me about Martin Luther King, I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest with you. But I'm definitely not a communist, and I definitely don't want to like celebrate communists. And it makes me wonder about his language, And I'm not a hateful like whatever person. I'm not like a like I've often lived with non-whites or whatever, if that's like a concern people have. But I think my battery's about to die. Anyway, I just I think it's kind of odd that like we have a day to celebrate a communist in America, which is not a communist country, but there are a lot of communist like sentiments and communist things that are happening, to be honest. So we need to maybe watch out for that. And maybe this day is one of those days that we need to like reconsider. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, huh? I can't tell if the lighting is that bad or it's just the monitor's low brightness because the battery's gonna die. I guess I'll find out when I try to edit this video. Cut out all my white nationalist, white bigoted, white proud, white nation, white country, anti-communist language. Guys, don't join together with whites only. That's bad. You're not allowed to do that. You can't just do that. You can't be only with whites. What are you doing? There's such an inherent wickedness for whites to be together specifically. Just think about it. It's obvious. You can imagine what we become if we're only whites all together. It's crazy.